So before recording this video, the thought had crossed my mind that I should probably basically rename my channel, at least temporarily. And I guess people seem more interested in it than, well, the other videos I post. So obviously chasing a few views and giving the people what they want, I ran a quick poll. Now the results of the poll were very interesting, as you can see over here. And I was a little surprised that we had 41% saying that it would not crash. Now, before you jump into the comments, I will always say, as I mentioned on this channel, I'm always happy to be proven wrong. Remember, I'm simply sharing my experiences, research and perspective based on my own experience. So I welcome any thoughts and I'm always happy to be proven wrong. However, for this video, I want to discuss why the property market hasn't crashed just yet and whether or not the property crash will happen in 2021. You see, as much fun as it is to get a few extra views and get this channel noticed by aspiring property investors or enthusiasts, I also don't want to speak about the same things over and over again, as it's not fun for me and it sure as hell can't be that much fun for you. So please do check out this video and this video if you want to just get up to date and this is completely new to you and it's the first time you've ever come across my channel. But the question I've been asked a fair few times now, and I promised I'd address at least this week, is why we haven't seen a crash just yet. Why hasn't it happened? Now, assuming you watch those videos I just mentioned or at least have basic knowledge to hand around things like furlough, stamp duty, pent-up demand and the very low interest rates, we now need to look at where we are at the end of January 2021, moving closer and closer to the time I believe things may potentially start to wobble, March 2021. Now, we know this guy, Rishi. Guys. Rishi. Thank you. So we know this guy Rishi, he is under an immense amount of pressure around doing something before the 31st of March. Because the closer we get, the more nervous prospective buyers will definitely be, knowing that they need to have completed by a set cut-off date to get the benefits of the stamp duty relief. And also knowing the backlog and timescales of lenders, solicitors and all those involved in a property transaction, it's fair to assume it is becoming a larger risk. So he really needs to decide something soon, because even if he waits till the 3rd of March, which is now what I'm hearing he's gonna do, it could be putting people off in February and even today from going out there and purchasing properties, as common sense would tell them there is a risk they may not complete it on time. Plus, you know my stance. Know the market value for the house and really weigh up the opportunity cost of buying now to save some stamp duty or waiting for a potential wobble and saving yourself some money on the overall purchase price. Now, I figured I wouldn't be 100% lazy for this video and do some actual research, more research for you all after you've kindly taken a few moments to stop by and watch this video. And well, as property investors, well, I seem to always see them say, we now need to showcase and deliver value. So anyways, I got researching and I got back to this whole stamp duty and the effects of it since it's come into play. Now, we know London prices have risen by almost 10%, which is absolutely remarkable if you ask me. London is already one of those places that it will cost you about £100,000 for a shed, let alone a normal house. And reports have also shown more than 100,000 prospective buyers are trying to find a home before the deadline. Crazy numbers. And it's quite bizarre that there's almost like a crazy purge going on with people wanting to get a purchase done before the deadline. It almost reminds me of those sales that we used to get on Black Friday, where we used to see people fly kicking each other to grab a TV and camping outside of shops for days. Well, we're kind of getting a little bit of that as well behind the scenes, which is a kind of masterstroke if you look at it from the government in terms of keeping property purchases going and the demand still there. Although I do really wish people acted more on logic over emotion. But hey, here I am using an overpriced MacBook next to my Apple iPad positioned with 4 Rode mics. Why I need 4 mics, I don't know. But it seemed like a great bargain when they offered it me to buy it in the bundle. I think I saved like 15% and well, I couldn't let 15% slide. Although I guess my life would have been easier if I just slid over to the other side of the desk rather than having a mic on each corner. But hey, hindsight is a wonderful thing. And even myself, I rarely use common sense. But that is the exact type of example where we display irrational behaviour. And I see many people doing that today. We convince ourselves that the savings of stamp duty or the limited time of opportunity is worth us overspending on unnecessary purchases or overpaying. And this is being witnessed now in the market. But I digress. Now, what we do know is if we are to extend stamp duty, which hopefully some of you can let me know in the comments below if you stumble across this video in the next week, I believe the following will happen. And it'd be interesting to see if you agree with this. it would again slow down a potential crash of property prices. So I may have to do another video, as purchases will continue to go ahead, because just how I want these 4 microphones in my podcast setup, people will want a house without paying stamp duty. Conveyancers will also take this opportunity and likely celebrate with a night off, although it seems they, well, kind of do that anyway most of the time. And they'll probably enjoy the ease of pressure they are given by having more time to respond to their 1 email quota a week to get stuff done. And then we have mortgage lenders who can reduce some of the stress of their own as well on their shoulders in terms of getting stuff over the line. So it's definitely going to be good news, I think, for a lot of people involved in property, especially sellers. Now, if Rishi, guys, can we just get the photo on the screen, please? Yeah, I know he's already been on, but if somebody just jumps to this part of the video, they may think I'm Rishi, and I don't want that. Now, if this guy Rishi doesn't extend stamp duty, then we are in for some fun times, at least in my opinion. Firstly, deals will collapse. People will simply pull out of deals knowing they won't save their thousands of pounds on stamp duty, as they'll feel they won't be able to complete in time. So I definitely predict thousands of property transactions to collapse at the last minute and not reach the set deadline, if he chooses not to extend it. Unless, of course, he makes an exception to the rule, maybe to protect those midway through transactions. But otherwise, we're going to see a lot of stock going back on the market. Now, again, doing some more research for this video, we do know that the original intention around stamp duty was short term. The SDLT holiday was designed to be a temporary relief to stimulate the market activity and support jobs that rely on the property market. The government does not plan to extend temporary relief. At least that's what they said earlier. So if that is true, although what the government says and does are 2 completely different things, then expect the wobble to begin, beginning with the initial pulling out of transactions, and then the ridiculous house prices will have to decrease because there's no incentive for buyers to purchase overpriced properties. So it's interesting times. And the final point, I guess, which I should say, which is pretty interesting too, is there's whispers around Rishi Sunak considering a 5th furlough extension. Now, as things stand, it's until the end of April, I believe. But let's see, because maybe that will slow down the wobble of a potential crash, as people will still have some disposable income to play around with. So that is where we stand at the minute, everyone, and just like yourselves, I'm waiting to see how the government moves on this topic. I definitely believe that the next few weeks will be really telling, and their next few actions will massively determine how property investors and home buyers will have to move in 2021 and beyond. But although it's never great to see problems in the market, I must stress that there will be opportunities too. So it's probably a great time to be ready, especially if you have some cash ready. And even myself, I can't talk about myself. Well, okay, it's a bit rude. But either way, I still believe it will bring opportunities. But the question, I suppose, is when? Who knows? But what we do know is that I'm likely going to do another one of these videos, as I think updating yourselves on property not only keeps me up to date, but it's quite fun as well. And hopefully entertaining enough for you guys to want to stick around, maybe subscribe and potentially like that video as well. So maybe the YouTube gods know that I exist. And of course, thank you all for taking time out of your day today for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts as well. Let me know why you think there may not be a crash as well. Again, I'm always open to learn, and I'm sure there's people who are too scared to comment watching this video, probably looking in the comment section for some useful advice. Just make sure it's useful. And now, our favorite time of the day, some bloopers. Thank you. Now, if this guy Rishi doesn't extend, gonna have to try that one again, guys. And they'll probably be very thankful of the pressure relieved on it, and they'll probably enjoy the ease of pressure they have given. Remember, I'm merely sharing. Merely? What?